On this week's episode of Marketing O'Clock,
Google has a new tool that you'll love. Google Search Console URL Inspection API.
Summertime sadness approaches for fans of local and smart shopping campaigns.
And Google makes a positive move, partnering with agencies, and we're program it.
All on today's show.
You know what time it is. It's officially Marketing O'Clock. We bring you all the digital marketing news of the week, powered by the digital marketing community. If you want to join the conversation, hit us up. We are at Marketing O'Clock everywhere, and you can join our community on Discord at community.marketingoclock.com. We record every week from the Cypress North Studios in beautiful Buffalo, New York, to bring you our famous Friday news show. You can subscribe to our show at youtube.marketingoclock.com or wherever you consume your podcast. Head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every article we cover straight to your inbox.
Hey there, I'm Christine Zernheld.
AKA Shep.
I'm Jess Budd.
And I'm Greg Finn.
And it is officially Marketing O'Clock.
Here on February 4th, 2022. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for another episode. Greg, it happened. How are you feeling? Over the hill?
I feel good. I feel great because I went over the hill this weekend. So what I decided to do was to shred that hill to pieces. So I went skiing twice this weekend. It was the best I've skied in a long time. It made me feel really, really great. And then I got a really nice birthday present from Greg's of future past, essentially.
What?
Because when the Bengals lost to the Jets, past Greg put a decent sports investment down, Shep, on the Cincinnati Bengals winning the AFC championship.
Oh, so
Was it like a big long shot when you put the bet down?
20-1, yes.
Wow.
So
more like
now,
20 to WON.
Exactly, Jess. It was funny. We were at the restaurant at the ski place, and they had the Bengals game on, and my wife was like yelling at me to sit down because I was really going at it. I didn't hedge or anything. But in true Greg fashion, I figured out one way to screw this up. I bet to win 1/10 of a Bitcoin in November. However, that value has dropped 50% since I made the bet.
50?
50%, yeah. So in true Greg fashion, I even figured out how to screw that up somehow. But it was a great weekend, and I felt great. So we're doing okay here.
Investing in sports and investing in yourself.
Yeah, but I should have got the crypto. You know I'm out on crypto, but I should have just.
I don't know what you're doing over there.
At the point that you had to do crypto in New York. Now you can do whatever you want.
Investing in sports with Greg Finn. Jess, what's new with you?
Literally, my entire world is my child, as you guys know. And he's become like a 40-year-old man. He's very sophisticated.
Hey!
Yeah. He's very sophisticated. He used the word hydrated the other day. He's like, I need to be hydrated. He's eating sauerkraut. He's doing all these things. But then
what?
Yes.
Yeah. Ew.
By the
That's
fistful.
just
I know.
bad
I don't
taste.
even do that. Yeah. I know.
Ugh,
We're trying not to make him. He
fistful?
thought it was cheese. There was a pile of cheese next to it on the plate. He picked it up. He ate it. He goes, So
what
that's
kind
good.
of heckin' cheese do you have in your house?
Oh, it was Parmesan. We were having Caesar salad. So it was like the flaky stuff. Anyway, so
Caesar salad with a side of sauerkraut. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. Like I said, very sophisticated. But then he does things like my Aunt Sharon yesterday was putting on his shoes, making jokes about how his feet stink. And he was like, no, they don't. No, they don't. She's like, you're right. No, they don't. And he goes, but my butt does. So I think we're doing okay. It's very well balanced that he's on both sides of the coin behavior-wise.
Sauerkraut with a side of potty talk. Respect.
Yeah.
Well, I know, I think you guys are both out on the Wordle trend, right?
No, I'm in.
Completely out. Couldn't be more.
I play every day
Oh,
at like
do?
12:01.
I didn't know.
I wait. Yes.
Black, green, black, green, yellow.
So you have no idea. So I'm into recently, but I
didn't know that.
That might get you into it, Greg.
Nope.
I discovered this week there's a new version, Taylordle.
Oh, God.
I thought you were going to say the SEO.
Couldn't be out on it any more than this.
Every day is a new Taylor Swift 5-letter word.
This is maybe what hell is like. Honestly.
So I can tell you today, since we record this episode on Wednesday, the word was dress after her hit song from the Reputation album.
That's just a word. That's not a Taylor Swift word.
It is. It's the name of a song. It's a Taylor Swift word.
It's a garment.
Okay, you're just wrong, and you should play Taylordle because it's the best game on the internet.
I'd probably be good at it since it's just words.
No Wordle. Get rid of it.
Well, getting into the news this week, Ginny Marvin tweeted earlier this week from her ads liaison account. She said, as we previously announced, Performance Max will be replacing Smart Shopping and local campaigns this year. To ensure a smooth transition, we're introducing a new tool and key milestones. So the new tool is a one-click migration tool. This will be available for Smart Shopping campaigns in April and June for local campaigns. First of all, I'm all in on the Smart Shopping going to Performance Max. I get it. But the local campaigns is what makes me more nervous, right?
It does for me personally.
Yeah.
If you're using Smart Shopping, you should at least know what Performance Max is. I agree.
Yeah, but local isn't as automated right now, so I feel like it's scarier for people. And that's why it's even scarier when we're talking about a one-click migration. Does that not sound like a terrible idea? What can you do with one click?
Sounds like you could do it by accident way too easily as well.
Yeah. Nothing should take one click. You can't do anything for one click. And I was actually thinking about this because I know you're 40 and I'm not. But I'm really falling apart. Like something's happened to me since you turned 40. I have Kindle fatigue big time now from holding my Kindle.
Sure, put the hand up for the
massaging her
My
audience.
hand
hand
while
is
she-
cramping.
Yeah.
I'm just massaging it all day. I have this constant hand cramp. And then my mouse click finger is hurting lately. It's like
Have you been reading
sore.
Glenn Gabe's posts lately?
It must have been. Like, it's so sore. So when I first read about the one click, I was kind of like, sounds kind of nice. But then I was like, wait. Your Google Ads campaign is worth the finger fatigue, you know?
How are you falling apart? You're like half my age. And you're falling apart already.
No, I'm not. But yeah, I mean, I've just had a rough week. I don't know what it is, but my hands are dry. I've got Kindle fatigue.
You should try a hand mask. Have you tried hand masks? I did one
They
last
make them
night.
softer.
Yeah, well,
That-
for like 20 hours. And now look at I'm cracking again. It was not worth the $6.
This is like the definition of first world problem. You're like, oh, I'm consuming too much content on my Kindle and I'm clicking too much. Like,
At least I'm reading.
does that count if you read on a Kindle, honestly?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're still exercising
It's
your
electronic.
brain. Don't take this away from me. Can I have something, please? Okay. So, continuing Jenny's thread here, she said, then Smart Shopping campaigns will auto-upgrade between July and September. Local campaigns will auto-upgrade between August and September. So, I'm hoping there's another option to, quote, upgrade besides the one-click option and that there's like a safer way to do it. But I would do that before those July and August deadlines because I don't want to be auto-upgraded to anything without me like looking at the settings and making sure everything's good.
That's a no-click migration.
Yeah, and a few of the positives are there's some other news that Shep is going to be covering about change histories a little bit later, and you have scheduling. So if you were using Smart Shopping before, you now get scheduling in Performance Max, which you didn't have in Smart Shopping. So there are a lot of reasons to test this out for shopping campaigns, but everything else I may hold off until you have to, or test it in your own time.
Yeah. So then more Performance Max news. Menahem Ani responded to this thread and asked Ginny, any update on when Performance Max data will be available in the reporting API? And I didn't know this either, but Ginny responded and said, hi there, if your Performance Max integration has been built, Performance Max data should already be reflected in your corresponding reporting API, which is a big update and I didn't know was a thing. So that's awesome. This is why we have Ginny. Then people were in the thread asking her about when Performance Max data was going to go into Data Studio, which is another big pain point. All of a sudden, she just pops in and says it's working now. Like she heard the feedback and just
Snapped
fixed
her
it right
fingers.
away.
Yep.
Right. And it was confirmed not working. So if you were looking at your Performance Max campaigns within Data Studio, somehow it used different information by being a Google product that didn't include Performance Max data.
Yeah, so this is why we have Ginny. She just heard the complaint, fixed it right away. Thank you, Ginny. And then another big change that Greg hinted at before, PPC Kirk tweeted this notification. He said he saw in his account, it says, in change history, we will show insights that highlight significant shifts, explain the root cause, and provide recommendations to address issues, which is also huge. Kirk says, from Google documentation on PMax, in my opinion, this is a great way to utilize machine learning, pointing us towards potential causes and significant KPI changes to make better recommendations. So,
And are you all in on Team PMax over Performance Max now, Shep?
I was just reading.
I'm just asking you.
It's so hard. I hate saying PMax, but I mess up when I say Performance Max, and then I have to say it again, and then Greg's doing more editing. So I guess I'm Team PMax, but everyone just know I hate it while I'm saying it. Oh my God, it's so unfair. Okay, what else is happening in the news?
All right. From the Google Search Console Twitter account, they tweeted out, today we're launching the Google Search Console URL Inspection API, a new way for developers and SEOs to debug and optimize their pages. So you can request the data that Search Console has about an indexed version of the URL now. The API that Google has put out will return the indexed information that is currently available in the URL inspection tool that you can find in Search Console. If you're not familiar with what the URL inspection tool is, some of the common tasks that you can find out is the index status of a URL. You can inspect a live URL. You can request indexing, and at least in Search Console, you can view a rendered version of the page or troubleshoot a missing page. So there's a lot of information in there, and this is really huge for big sites, but we'll get to that in a minute. From Google, they say, this includes analysis results containing information from Search Console, including index status, AMP, rich results, and mobile usability. And everybody's favorite Glenn Gabe at Glenn Gabe on Twitter said, it launched. I was in the beta and tested this pretty heavily. It worked well. And he quoted the Google article saying, you can provide ongoing monitoring for important pages and single page debugging options, and then said, i.e., you can test if pages are indexed in bulk, max 2K requests per day. But still great to do this. So that's one of the things that there's a little bit of concern about for some of the larger sites out there, because the usage limits are only 2,000 queries per day or 600 queries per minute. So if you're like going full bore, you can do 600 queries a minute for 3.3 minutes. Hashtag math on that. And then Google gave a couple of examples of how you can use this. They said, SEO tools and agencies can provide ongoing monitoring for important pages and single page debugging options. For example, checking if there are differences between user declared and Google selected canonicals, or debugging structured data issues from a group of pages. Or CMS and plugin developers can add page or template level insights and ongoing checks for existing pages. For example, monitoring changes over time for key pages to diagnose issues and help prioritize fixes. A lot of people quote tweeted this and were really positive or had some criticism. Joe Hall at Joe Hall on Twitter said, a lot of really good stuff here, though the API limit essentially makes it useless for larger sites or for any client services work. Mike King at iPullRank on Twitter said, hear that? It's the sound of every crawling tool adjusting their roadmap. Philly Weiss at Philly Weiss on Twitter said, finally, this is progress. Now just up the quota, smiley face. And Aleda Solis at Aleda on Twitter said, it's time to obtain Google's URL inspection data at scale via the new API. What is that, explosion emoji she's got there?
Pow? Yeah.
Pow emoji. Please, 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 all SEO crawlers, integrate to provide status along with the one you show from crawl simulations and log files. High five, star eyes, fire emojis.
I believe that's raised hands.
Raised hands, star eyes, fire
Yeah,
emoji.
high five.
I don't know.
Who does a double high five like that?
This is such a technical article, and that's the only thing I messed up is the emoji. It's the raised hands. I'm sorry.
I can't let you get
It's
away
the only
with
thing
that.
I could offer. So.
I appreciate that, Shep.
When
I
you high
appreciate
five
you.
like that, it's like an intimate thing. You've got to either like bring both hands down or do like cradle the fingers.
Yeah.
You can't high five
Ugh.
like that.
And you have to look
I'm
at
gonna
both
blur
elbows.
that out
Yeah.
for the users. Ugh.
Nosferatu.
If only the users knew how sweaty my hands were, it would make it better.
What if I said height like a 10? Because that's a 10. That's 2.5.
But who high fives like that? That's a full frontal high five.
It's a
I
high
love that.
10.
If you get a good one of
That's
those,
hashtag
what
math.
better feeling is there if you just go bam, double five?
That's only for sports.
I feel like you're with me.
I
Jess.
kind of
No.
am, but you might be the only person that's ever like gone for that in my life.
Didn't it feel like we accomplished something?
From my boss, that is like the ultimate seal of approval.
How dare you use the B word in front of me?
I know. I'm sorry, boss.
Okay. And then there were a bunch. Stop it. And then there were a bunch of other comments. And this is the funny part. I'm just going to highlight one thing. Google tweeted this out, and there must have been 8 people that just responded, okay. Okay.
Is it a bot somewhere?
Why are you even saying
I'm gonna blur
anything?
their faces out, but it's like people are just like, okay. What? This is what you're doing? Is this a bot? And then it's like, how are you making money off the okay bot? Like you're just okaying this, and it's ridiculous. So it'll be up on screen on YouTube if you want to check it out. YouTube.marketingclock.com. What you got, Jess?
All right. Speaking of being okay, this one's hot off the presses. It happened just hours before we recorded here on Wednesday. It's via George Wynn of Search Engine Land. Google finally launches revamped partners program. After nearly 2 years, the new partners program requirements have taken effect. Google will notify all partners of their current status.
Oh, I hadn't heard of this.
We will get to that in a second. So it's been a while, as George said, I almost said 2 hours. 2 years. So if you don't recall what those requirements are, they're outlined in the article. Basically, you have to achieve an optimization score of 70%, which you can now do by opting out rather than accepting everything. You have to spend $10,000 across all of a partner's managed accounts within a 90-day period.
Which is down from 20K.
It is down from 20. I left out the huge nugget that when they initially released the requirements, people were fired up. And if this is your first time listening to the show, then maybe you didn't know that. But if you've been with us for a while, you know exactly who was fired up and what they did about it.
Who?
Mr. Greg Finn.
Someone in his 30s.
This is actually great news. And you can read, there's more requirements too. And there's also additional requirements for Premier Partner status. You can read all of those details. You also might remember us talking, I think it was a couple weeks ago, about the $500 credits for eligible partners clients and an extended period of time to earn those offers rather than 30 days. I think it's 60 now. These are all good things. The part we've been waiting for is Greg Finn's take on this. The guy that spearheaded the client partners movement, an agent of change, an advocate of advertiser sanity, and a champion of client success. Greg Finn, do you want me to read your Twitter thread about this, or would you like to read it?
I mean, I can sum it up if you want.
I would love for you to, because I think the people want your stance, and they can read your Twitter.
The moral of the story is we give a lot of heck to Google many times that they do things wrong. I think the initial iteration of this obviously was was
criminal.
We're being nice, Jeff. it was just misguided,
Flawed.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, we can make you do all these different things. Google actually listened to the community and made the changes. And I want to take a minute and just actually be very grateful for people like Ginny and the entire Google team that can see when something may have gone a little bit too much. And not only to fix this, to say, you can now dismiss these recommendations, but to go a few extra steps further to say, instead of giving you $100 to be in the partner program, you get $500 for a new client coming on board. Nobody cares about those stupid Google branded products that you can win. I don't care about that. I care about the fact that I can now give my clients $400 extra that come on board. I know for big clients, that's not going to move the needle, but it will move the needle for a lot of people, and it will let new business experience Google Ads and test it out and hopefully do better and grow their business. That is a gigantic win. Additionally, they give you more time to spend that money, which is fantastic.
Huge.
And so for as much grief as we can give sometimes, I think it's important to stop and appreciate it when a company does something right. And in this case, Google did right, not only by advertisers, but by the end users of the product, which are the clients of advertisers or the companies. And so when we say, does Google really care about small business? In this case, I think they made a move that they do care about. They're giving more money and they're getting rid of those recommendations that may force the hand of some folks. So I just want to take some time and appreciate that, because I know we took a lot of time, providing some feedback on that. So it's just, it's nice, and it's nice to have that win. And I know if you are outside looking in, you don't see this, but this is a gigantic win for advertisers and for clients and for everybody involved. And I just wanted to take some time to appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to note too that this happened based on feedback from the community. Because if they had just done this outright, we would have celebrated it. It would have been great. But they really made people mad. They heard what people and Greg said, and they fixed it. And I just think props to them for that. And Greg, on behalf of marketers everywhere, thanks for being the change we all wish to see. Good job, boss.
Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a hashtag fire digital marketing take with extra spice served up just for you. We simply deliver the take for your consumption. We give no opinions, we don't influence, you make the call.
All right, and this week's Take of the Week comes from Brett Bodofsky on Twitter.
Who?
Oh, ever heard of him?
Brett. Just
Oh,
Brett.
Brett.
I didn't
Okay.
recognize him with the last name.
So Brett said, at PPC Greg just shared $1 million idea. And look, we just went from saying something nice to just like hacking all over this.
We
again.
didn't say this.
Okay, so Brett did. Brett. He said, PPC Greg just shared $1 million idea. An Google Ads script that automatically dismisses recommendation. Crying face.
That is $1 million idea.
Yeah. So thanks, Brett.
Now it's time for this week's ICYMI. This is something you just might not have seen. Maybe something that you overlooked. But you shouldn't have.
ICYMI people from Shaun Elley at SElley2134. He says the publisher report in Microsoft Ads can be very eye-opening if you are looking to find out more about which syndicated search partners are showing your ads and performance for each. You can also use it to exclude certain publishers from the account or specific campaigns. I love this report too, and I found the Microsoft search partners to not be that bad. I have them on in a couple.
What?
Of yeah.
You might be the only, you're like a unicorn. Nobody else has ever found that.
Clearly, Shaun has.
What?
He has the report on, so he must be looking at the search partners to see performance. He has them on.
And he's saying you can use it to exclude.
Yeah, you can exclude certain ones.
You can't
but if you
exclude
just
them if they're not
exclude all
included.
search partners, you're not going to use this report.
Like DuckDuckGo.
Yeah,
is one you don't
DuckDuckGo,
want
yeah.
to exclude. Okay, I take it back.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So I would
And
just
Shaun.
say, if you're trying new things, I've seen better results with Microsoft search partners than Google search partners, is what I will say.
This is an audio show, Greg. No one saw that face. You just
You're making me feel bad.
I don't know what accounts you're looking at.
Do you want me to skip?
No, I don't.
We can talk offline.
Now it's time for this week's
pew pew.
lightning round. At this point in the show, we split up our content into 3 parts: paid, organic, and social.
First up in the paid universe this week, TikTok is rolling out a new instant page shopping display option, which will enable brands to connect their TikTok ads to a lightweight native landing page built within TikTok itself. Sounds a lot like instant articles on Facebook to me. These will load up to 11 times faster than normal mobile landing pages, they say. Okay, great. What TikTok needs is a frequency cap or people who will use it. I see the same ads every day. Figure it out, people.
What ads are
Actually,
you getting now?
I converted on one.
Oh,
there you go.
You don't need a frequency
But
gap.
guess what? I did it the first time, and now I've seen the ad 10 more times.
What
Oh.
ad was it?
I don't even remember the name of the app, but I downloaded it, and it was like content recommendations, like you put in books and TV shows you like.
Oh, you were telling me about this yesterday,
Yeah,
actually.
and then it'll make recommendations.
Oh,
How
so
is
you
it
can be
working?
like, oh, here's Celine Dion for you.
Yeah. Well, it's not books. It's if there was a Celine Dion documentary.
Oh, movies?
Yeah, it didn't say anything about music. It said books and TV shows.
Well, we do the music part here.
We try.
Oh, there isn't enough Celine on our marketing playlist. I have to add her.
There's more than enough.
If you were like me, you got an email from Google Ads this week with an exciting update about recommendations. So now you are going to be able to apply recommendations automatically from your Google Ads account, not from the control center, which is going away, but from what they're calling the auto apply tab. Cancel it.
What?
Yeah. So if you were using Control Center, you can't do it anymore. You have to use the auto apply tab for each individual account.
Yeah. So
And don't use it.
that'll
And
be everyone's favorite bookmark.
This is something you should never auto apply recommendations on. And I will give you proof in the organic round. So stay tuned.
Oh, can't wait. Interesting crossover there. Google Ads is once again updating their gambling and games policy after Greg Finn's big win this weekend in the crypto space. They are going to accept and run ads for sports betting and daily fantasy sports from certified state licensed entities in Louisiana starting January 28th.
Oh, so if you were trying to invest in sports and you live in Louisiana and you want to take the over on the Super Bowl at 48 points, you could do that?
Are you giving people advice?
I'm not giving any advice.
Okay. When did this turn into a bookie podcast? Okay, finally, something that I have been asking about for a while. Chelsea Bradley got an email. It says, you've heard the news. Facebook is now Meta, or just says Meta. That's why today we're officially announcing that Facebook Pixel is now known as the Meta Pixel. Moving forward, all partners should update any references to Meta Pixel in their interfaces, collateral, help center, content, documentation, etc. as soon as possible to align with the rebrand. And then Chelsea is feeling a little sassy today. She said, still going to call it Facebook Pixel. That's fine, Chelsea. You do you. I think a lot of people are going to call them the Washington football team for a long time. It's your choice.
You're a DMV native. What are your thoughts on the new team name?
I like it.
You like the commies?
Yeah, the commies.
What?
Isn't that the team name?
What are you saying?
The Commanders.
Oh, I shortened it to commies.
The only thing I didn't like was it kind of sounds like Commando to me.
Why don't you
What's
like
not to
Commando?
like?
The movie?
Okay, moving
1987?
on. Moving on. I wonder what Chelsea thinks.
She's just going to call it all the Facebook Pixel. The platform is still Facebook, though.
Facebook ads. Yeah, but your Facebook Pixel could be for like a lot of Meta properties, I guess.
Okay,
So
fine. You win. Meta properties?
I'm going to call it the Meta Pixel by Facebook.
Ooh.
call Chelsea and ask her, okay? I don't know. I don't have
She'll
a horse
hang
in
up.
this race. From PPC Greg at PPC Greg, Gmail campaigns became read-only on July 1st, 2021. Gmail campaigns will stop running on June 28th, 2022. And he has a notification in his account to prove it. And then it also says you can create a discovery campaign and show ads on Gmail, YouTube, and Discover. This does not make me feel optimistic about everyone's ETAs in the years to come. Like, go ahead and add them if you're worried about it. I don't know how long they'll be.
Is there an ETA on that? Wow, what a hit.
Thank you, Jess. Okay. From the Twitter of Jake, at Jake at the BGM. This is a really great post about Facebook ads. ICYMI targeting on Facebook ads is not what it used to be, and it is probably only going to get worse for the near future. And a lot of people, I guess, are talking about using more of a broad approach on the platform and trying to scale that strategy. He has a response here. I have 2 quotes that I think are pretty good, and then you can find his Twitter to read the rest of it, or join us on Discord, or subscribe to our newsletter. The majority that speak of broad as the holy grail have disposable spends with no care for partner dollars. If you are in performance marketing and believe that targeting every user in the US is the best plan for a business's dollars, then you are not in performance marketing, you are in advertising. ... Those dollars will move elsewhere, and while Facebook is a massive beast, if the majority of advertisers woke up tomorrow and decided that scale on Facebook ads isn't worth it at the moment, I think we would see some real solutions to the issue we currently face.
That should be take of the week.
Yeah, that was hot.
Wow.
I thought it was really good, and I just hate using the Facebook ads platform, so I'm all about giving up on it.
Well, you might like the Meta Ads platform, to be
Yeah.
fair.
SXM Media, which is the mega corporation that includes SiriusXM, Pandora, and Stitcher Radio, all thriving platforms, announced on Monday that it's debuting a new kind of listener identity solution meant to target people with ads based on the music they listen to and the podcast they love. So looking at marketing a playlist, you can follow us at playlist.marketingoclock.com. I feel like me and Jess, our taste would build a pretty good user profile. Like, you could gleam our age. I use Gleam, right? You could understand our age, kind of what we're into. Like,
Are you calling yourself One Track Pony?
No, I just think
No.
they would know you're not wearing a lot of pink clothing, and that I am. That's all I'm saying.
Except today, all black.
I know.
I know, like champ.
I just feel like Greg's looking at marketing a playlist would be like, this is a guy who wants people to think he listens to all these songs.
Jess can attest. I only put songs on there that I listen to about once a week now. This one this week I just found, so it's different. But I only put stuff on.
When
that
do you
I like.
even listen to music, though?
when I'm doing work, when I'm doing marketing work. When I have to get something done, I listen to music. I listen to podcasts when I'm driving, and I listen to music when I'm working.
I feel the need to defend Greg here because you called him
Thank
out
you.
earlier about Lana Del Rey and the fact that he doesn't listen to it. But he does.
I
He's
listen
been
to only
recommending
Lana
Lana,
Del
Del Rey to me for years.
Nobody really listens to Lana Del Rey.
This
How
guy
dare
does.
you?
I promise you.
Tales from PPC Reddit, everybody. It's time.
Mm.
Posted by Scatter634. 633 was taken. This is my surefire method of gaining client trust against Google reps. Step 1, go to LinkedIn and look up the rep. 2, find them. They'll likely work for Teleperformance or one of many other Google third-party supports found here. 3, if they work for a third party, that's red flag number 1. If they have a short time in position, that's red flag number 2. If they are not based in your country of operations, that's potentially number 3. He says he's heard good things about Ireland support, though. He or she, I don't know. I don't mean to put you in a corner. Step 6, I've skipped a few here. If they have cumulative, far less experience in the space than you, that is the final flag. And then step 7, share the details with your client of your new rep's experience and involvement with a third party, not actually with Google. Along with this, it's usually a good idea to have some other supportive arguments about how wasteful these meetings and suggestions can be. So,
And he says we have a canned email for that.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Incredible what you have to go through.
And
Although we could all write one because we all have those experiences.
I can't believe I've never thought of that before, just like looking them up on Google. So that is it for paid. What's happening in organic?
All right. And first up in organic this week, Barry Schwartz over on Search Engine Roundtable says it's fine and not bad to have multiple verified Google Search Console properties for the same domain. To which Glenn Gabe then quote tweeted and said, "It's not just fine, it's optimal. I've written several blog posts about adding GSC properties for important directories, which can yield more data from your reporting since it's focused on just those directories." And directories was an asterisk as well. So it was really like, oh, you want one specific section or a subdomain or something like that. I'm imagining that's what Glenn is saying. You can then report just solely on that. And he says, here's one of those posts, and we'll have it over on community.marketingoclock.com or marketingoclock.com/newsletter. All right. Next up, it's a good dot for those domainers that love new TLDs, maybe even a hollow dot, as Google is launching a new .day domain. The general registration is open as of Tuesday this week. Oh, that was just a few dots after my birth dot. And 2 dot, when you are listening to this, you'll be in the general registration period where the prices are as low as $20 a year. So go register one on your mid-dot break.
$20 a year. So how much would the price be a dot?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Hashtag math.
All right. And next up from Barry Schwartz from his @RustyBrick Twitter handle, he writes, Google search people search next refinement is live. And the example of this is it appears that somebody's searching for a dentist shop, and maybe what you should be doing after the threats we've heard and are concerned about you for.
Thank you.
And so somebody was searching, and then what comes up is people search next. It also appeared to happen for somebody with an eye problem in the example over in Search Engine Roundtable. But so somebody searched for a dentist, and what came up next is, what is a root canal? Or does your tooth hurt after a filling? Or how to treat an abscessed tooth? So I think the big deal here is if you have answers to longer tail queries out there, you may start seeing some more traffic. All right, next up is huge news for retailers. Now, Google Merchant Center free listings can use auto tagging. So with auto tagging, after someone clicks on a free product listing or a free local product listing, auto tagging adds that extra information or a parameter that's the result ID to the URLs that you can click through. So you can see in analytics basically how the free and the free local listings perform differently than other merchant paid results there. So pretty cool. And all you have to do is you have to go to your Merchant Center account under conversion settings and enable auto tagging. So pause right now. If you are an e-com person, go to your Merchant Center conversion settings and turn on auto tagging.
You could do it while you're listening.
Yeah, you could. I said it twice.
Yeah, just
If you
tune
can
us out.
listen to Lana Del Rey while you work, they can.
Do you not like Lana Del Rey?
Yeah, what was that? Shots fired?
I just think everyone acts like they like Lana Del Rey and they don't really.
If there was a Lana Del Rey Wordle, do you think dress would be on there?
No, I think it would be like
Vicodin.
fake.
All right, next up from Shopify, there is new channel attribution in beta. And so what will be passed through is a source name, which is a string that will indicate where the order originated, an identifier that is an ID for the original order, and a URL. So if there is a valid URL pointing to the original order and the originating surface, it'll show there. If not, it will just be invalid and not displayed. This is a big deal. Shopify, I think, is one of their weaknesses, is that type of attribution. So at least having a little bit of information that can be pulled is helpful. And from Chase Diamond on Twitter, at ecom Chase Diamond, he says, awesome product update from Clavio, aka Clavio, aka Clavio. In response to Apple's iOS 15 changes, Clavio released an Apple Privacy Open flag. Clavio users can now use the Apple Open Privacy Open metadata, that's what he wrote, on open email events. This launch will enable the following. 1, the ability to segment audiences based on Apple Privacy Opens. 2, the option to track Apple Privacy Opens and custom reports. And 3, the option to switch to a new email attribution setting that excludes Apple Privacy Opens. So pretty cool. If you're big in email, big in ecom, big into Clavio, you will enjoy this. All right, next up from Google Search Central, they say, we're happy to share that starting today's Search Console and search results feature will also support domain properties. It seems like I'm reading these tweets wrong. I'm reading them correctly, okay? And they can learn more about this feature, blah, 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 over at the Search Help. So you now don't have to use the traditional way to register in Search Console. You can use a domain property, and then you can see the results feature when you're searching in Google. Does that make sense?
Yeah. They're adding features to their recommended way of verifying a site.
I know.
Nice.
Why don't you do that? But whatever. They did it. It's the same thing with Performance Max and Data Studio. They fixed it. So this is all fixed. Again, let's not yuck the yum that they're giving us. All right. And from Ryan Jones on Twitter, at Ryan Jones, he has an article from the Hacker News that is German court rules websites embedding Google fonts violates GDPR. Which, if this is true, we're doomed. We're doomed. Mm-hmm. We are absolutely doomed if this is true. We're doomed because everything.
Am I going to jail?
Yeah.
Everything is going to be a violation of GDPR. And Ryan says this too. He says, German court rules that using Google fonts is a violation of privacy because it sent the user's IP to Google. This ruling will, if applied to all third-party scripts, will literally break the internet. And at some point, it's gone too much, or you're going to just have to block Europe. You're just going to have to block the EU. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, if you can't use analytics, if you can't use fonts, if you can't use anything, how are you going to run a successful just block it all? I don't know.
Fonts, like we talked about it before, there's other analytics options, and there's other font options too, but like what?
But at some point, you're going to have to start analyzing every single one of them. And then, like, just only use GDPR stuff, but then you're going to have it, like, then let's say that the GDPR is working and you fix stuff for GDPR. Then what happens when the only analytics you have is like Phantom Analytics or Plausible or something that's GDPR compliant? And I think it's Plausible that is. But then let's say that the North America PR comes out, and then you can't use that there. You know, it's just, you can see how broken this is, where everything has to be hosted there and you can't go. Like, if there's a GDPR, if there comes an APR, North America PR, the internet will break.
It won't be
That's
worldwide.
how stupid the GDPR is. I get some of the things and the intent is smart, but to say that you can't look at an IP for a font or something, like, it's a problem. And then we have clients asking us about this, and it's like, look, I know Austria said that you can't use Google Analytics. Like, let's see how it plays out, because if not, everything's gonna break, or you're gonna break it for the next PR that's out there. Whatever. I'm too much these days. All right. From @Jack on Twitter, Jack Dorsey, formerly the CEO and founder, one of the founders of Twitter, who owns Review, a newsletter company. He says, for those of you on Substack, why not use @Ghost instead? Is the payment you get from Substack Inc. greater than the freedom Ghost would provide? Which probably is yes, Jack. Not everybody's loaded like you. He didn't write that, I did. And they said, it does have a centralized dependency on Stripe, which could be fixed with Bitcoin Lightning integration. And I think this is a good example of, we always talk about getting too tied to a certain platform. And if you have something on Substack and you want a little bit more freedom, go check out ghost.org. They have a great write-up, and it's something that is open source. It's funded by the users. You can pay for it, and there's not a big corporation profiting off of you. And it actually seems pretty decent. So if you're on Substack and you're relying on that and you're worried about being canceled, or on Patreon or something, check out something that you own. No, you don't actually own it, but it's open source and you control. All right. And from Search Engine Roundtable, Google may share your Discover likes with publishers. I forget who's on. I think it was Vortican Commander. But apparently there is an update where Google has said, only you can view the stories you like, but your selections may be shared anonymously with publishers. I'm all in on this. I just want the publishers to know when you unsubscribe or mute a topic, because I think that's more important.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many junk articles out there, and just because you don't like it doesn't mean anything. And that's what Google doesn't understand. They think that dislikes are stupid and that it's not helpful. It is maybe the most helpful thing.
What kind of things are you disliking?
Whenever I see something and you get to a slideshow, I immediately say, don't show me stories from that place anymore. If you get to something and is not like the title, I say, don't show me stories from this publication anymore. If you get to somewhere and it's hard to navigate, don't show me stories from this place anymore. If I get to something and I have to subscribe or log in to read the story, I say, don't show me articles from this place anymore. And that's important.
And they don't listen to you?
No, then you just don't see that URL anymore. But then those URLs are dead to me forever, right? And it's like, it would be helpful to know, all right, you had a lot of hyperbole with this article here and people didn't like it, and you're now blocked from that. So not only is it good to see what people like, but I think it's even more important to see what people are unsubscribing and will never see your content again from.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Tell me how you really feel.
And from CNBC, Google's earnings came in for the Q4 2021. Alphabet's the parent company, obviously. They beat the top and bottom lines for the fourth quarter. There's a 20-for-1 stock split, so more people could buy full shares. And in Q4, Google advertising brought in $61.2 billion in revenue. In Q4 2020, that was $46.2 billion, which is crazy. There's a lot more information. Danny Goodwin over at Search Engine Land had a nice little write-up there. And I pulled this from Danny's article. It says, looking at fiscal year 2021, Google Search and other brought in just under $149 billion. That's all 2021. An increase of 43% over $104 billion in 2020. So Google Search, and I believe that YouTube's out of this, up 43% in 2021. And this isn't like pandemic numbers. This isn't like a pandemic-induced increase, which leads me the point I alluded to earlier. Like, how good is all this smart bidding? You know? What do you think? Like that's my worry with all this stuff, is like, you are leaving it up to the algorithms, the machine learning, the artificial intelligence for something that just jumped 43% in revenue for the company. You know? And you would think with more smart bidding, more performance max, more optimization, that things might get more efficient. Doesn't seem like that's the case.
Or they are, so people are just dumping their budgets.
Oh, that's
in there.
true.
Is that
That's
pie
very
in
true.
the
That's a
sky?
great point.
Yeah.
And I rescind everything I just said.
I don't know. I'm probably
How
wrong.
very
though.
optimistic
That's just,
of you,
yeah,
Jess.
that's sunshine Jess Bud for you.
But do you think those recommendations are going to move that ad revenue down?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, this isn't advertiser revenue.
All right. And by way of Andrea Cruz in our Discord channel, Julie Bacchini, Salt J at Neptune Moon on Twitter said, it's not just Google, Alphabet. Apple is making oodles of money too. Apple and ad revenue skyrocket amid its privacy changes. So Apple doesn't break out their revenue from each specific department, but Apple search ad skyrocketed from driving 17% of all iPhone app downloads attributed to advertising to 58% in just 1 year, according to the mobile analytics firm Branch. And their numbers are through the roof. You can check it out as well if you look at the article over on community.marketingclock.com. All right. And from Christina in our Discord channel, she says, more proof NFTs aren't cool anymore. Walmart is getting into it. with a
Yeah,
winky
baby.
face.
Are we sure Walmart isn't cool?
They're preparing
I'm
to
not.
go big on the metaverse with its own NFTs. So buckle up.
Can't wait.
All right. And lastly here, the New York Times is buying Wordle. That was fun while it lasted. Josh Wardle, a software engineer in Brooklyn, has sold it to New York Times for a price in the low 7 figures. So $1 million, the Times said. They also went on to say that the game would initially remain free to new and existing players. So,
Initially.
yes.
His
Vital.
name is really Wardle.
That's amazing.
By the way, did you know that the domain wordle.com is like up for grabs? What's
No.
happening there?
Buy it.
By Wordle.day. All right. And that's it in organic. What's happening in social, boss?
Nice. First up in social this week, do you ever see a couch and think, that would look good on me?
Nah, not really.
Well, now you can. Pinterest is rolling out an AR try-on feature for furniture, which is just it's an amazing feature. It's a dumb name. You don't try furniture on, you maybe try it out.
Yeah.
You visualize.
Ooh. But you'd need like an empty room.
Well, if you need a piece of furniture, theoretically the thing isn't there. Anyway, move your couch. Take a picture. So this is from Search Engine Land. The feature, it is called Try On for Home Decor, which again, dumb name, but it means that users can see what products from the likes of Crate & Barrel, CB2, Walmart, which I hear is really hip now, West Elm, and Wayfair, what those products look like in their homes. So theoretically, you have an empty space, you want to fill it, AR, a little chair in there. This is awesome for our listeners that are in the furniture biz, but broader strokes, Pinterest is trying to compete with giants like Google and Amazon that are already doing this. They're investing in AR beyond what it's like totally played out in beauty right now. So hopefully we'll see some new capabilities rolling out for other industries.
And
on
if you're in
Pinterest.
like the home decor influencer space, you could just put the furniture in the room and never buy it and post it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look that good from the demos that I saw. It looks great for this, but it wouldn't convince me that the furniture was in the room.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I like your thinking. Shop very devious. Next up from Jane Mansion Wong at WongMJane on Twitter. Twitter is implementing the About tab in user profile pages. That's her tweet. You might remember last year they teased that this was coming. It's basically a tab that shows information about people like location, birthday, etc. According to Jane, none of that is there yet because somebody did ask what's in it. And her response was it's just the About tab for now. The content of the tab isn't there. It's just showing profile tweets in their timeline. So it looks like they're working on it, but it's not quite there. You can keep your eyes open if you want those boring details about people. But if you really want to know who someone is, just read their Twitter bio because I think that's where their personality shines.
What's your Twitter bio?
I have no idea. But I bet it says a lot about me in like 2016.
I think it's
Last
just
time
like
I
beer
logged.
slinger.
Yeah, I think I talk about that. That was not relevant for like 2 years. All right, from The Guardian. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority is saying that it needs, quote, stronger tools to enforce consumer protection laws and deal with an endemic market-wide problem. This month, the advertising regulator named 6 social media celebrities for repeatedly failing to tell followers when they were paid to promote products in posts, end quote. Basically, they said that the influencer marketing, I sound so old. Influencer marketing is more effective than traditional, particularly with a younger audience. So they're looking for a faster way to go after creators that are breaking the law. They said that court proceedings take too long. They want to just be able to issue fines. They're trying to protect the youth. The law is the law. That's fine. Takeaway from this article, though, is that the CMA is calling out social platforms themselves for not doing enough to enforce policies around this and or helping them with their legal proceedings. They noted that fleeting content like stories that expire make it hard to track this stuff in general too. So if this makes a big enough splash, I don't know if it will. We might see some in-platform changes or policy updates down the line, but who knows? Maybe not. Next up, news about a meme account that I actually know. This is from Forbes. Doing Things Media, an Atlanta-founded company that owns many of the most popular Instagram meme accounts like @ShitheadSteve, I know that one, @420 and @Doggos Doing Things, has taken in a $21.5 million Series A. So
Of course you would know that.
You don't know shit. What Dad Steve? I always say shit, Dad Steve.
This
in my
was
head.
a lot of bleeps.
Yeah.
Rip to the listeners' ears.
Shit.
Okay. Oh my
It
God.
was so fun. This is proof that being funny can make you rich. We haven't seen any dollars. I mean, maybe
Well,
a
we're
few.
not funny.
We're
to be
not
fair.
funny,
Yeah.
especially not today.
Well, shit. Closing us out with an in memoriam from the LinkedIn official blog. Cool name alert. Did you know it's LinkedIn's official blog? That's what it's called.
What do you want to call it? LinkedIn's unofficial blog?
I don't know. The Linked Insider or something.
Anything that's honestly not that lame.
I mean, honestly, it's better than at LinkedIn.
Anyway, this comes to us, and Shep, write this down for the Clockskers.
I'm
It's an
opening
in
the
memoriam.
doc.
Okay. By way of Matt Navarra, LinkedIn is shutting down its LinkedIn Lite app. So,
R.I.P.
yeah, RIP, it's happening. If you do use it.
Fewer calories.
Yes.
Same great taste.
Yes, same great taste. It's gone for you on March 15th, 2022. So beware the ides.
All right. Next up in our segment, we have something new that we're probably going to move up to the paid side of things. We have an idea, and by we, I mean me,
Yeah.
where we want to do a 10-month makeover to your accounts, your paid accounts specifically. And each month, we want to take one specific element to test out, report back to us over in Discord, community.marketingclock.com, and let us know how things go. And each week, we're going to be giving little tips about how to use this better. And first up, month 1, February. We're going to go all the way to November, and then you get December off.
Thanks.
Okay. Performance Max for search only, because with search, if you have a phrase match or an exact match term, it should take precedence over your Performance Max data. So if you're running DSAs or if you haven't tried DSAs, it may make sense to give it a small test to see how Performance Max works, especially for search accounts. I am not saying to do this for shopping. It could cause havoc on your accounts. But give it a shot. You do need imagery, and we'll talk through all this as the month goes on. But in February, we are pushing you, the advertiser, if you have a Google Ads account, to give Performance Max a test to help make 2022 your year.
Yeah, and I haven't used it either, so I'm going to be part of the test.
Same.
Awesome. You're going to have to report back as to how it goes.
And that brings us to our real life segment. Straight out of our accounts and into your ear holes. It's time for working hard or hardly working.
I was vaguely aware that you could segment Google Ads traffic by operating system. So you could say, well, spoiler alert, we're making marketing a clock search ads. So we wanted to send separate traffic for iOS and Android so people could subscribe where it made sense for them, whether that's Apple Music, Google Podcasts, whatever. We want to do search campaigns, and you can only segment by operating system for display and video. So that was a big bummer, and I didn't know that was a problem, and I wish that you could do it on search. So also, if you see a marketing a clock ad and you're already a subscriber, like, please don't click on it. Thanks. What about you, Greg?
We were thinking about a potential project that's maybe coming down the road where we need to find a domain name. And I am just so grateful that there are some of these companies out there that compile a list of usable domains. You can sort by price. So Brand Bucket's the one that I've used in the past, but I've been pleasantly surprised. There's Squad Help. There's a bunch of others. There's Unicorn Domains, I believe is the name of it. And you can go through and see some names that people have already purchased and put up for reasonable-ish prices.
Speaking of visualizing things more, I had the privilege this past week of visiting a new client's facility. And they're
Via Zoom?
No, in person, IRL. It was awesome. They are a website client we're doing a marketing foundation for, probably going to do some marketing down the line. And we went through our normal discovery process with them, heard them talk about what they do. They're in the medical innovation space. I'm not a doctor or an innovator.
You're an innovator.
Thank you. But not the science
You're a
kind
doctor too,
or the
Jess.
technology. Yes, the doctor of awesome. And just honestly, like, if you ever have, I know a lot of us were in digital so we can work with clients anywhere, but if you have the ability to visit a client in person, not only for that face-to-face interaction, but to really see what they do and hear them talk about it in their own element, it was completely eye-opening. Like, I already really understood they did a great job of explaining it to us, but going there and just seeing it, I'm going to be able to do such a better job for them having done that. So when you have the opportunity to do so, you should always take it.
And in the most
Working hard.
Jess Bud move ever, it was your first in-person client meeting in how long? And what did she wear? A leather mini skirt. Fantastic. You looked amazing.
Thank you, Shab. Working hard.
And now for this week's.
Cool tool.
As a reminder, our Cool Tool segment is not an official endorsement or paid mention. We're simply sharing something we found in our travels that may be of use to our listeners. And is really, really cool.
This week's cool tool is something that came out before the main news story with the new Google API, but still something that you may want to use. It is the Google Bulk Inspect URLs tool from Valentine.app. It gives you a quick check of any URLs you want to inspect on a site that you own. You have to authorize access to your Google Search Console, and then you can select your property of interest and put a list of URLs that you want to look at. It spits out a simple table showing all of the associated data to that URL for things like crawl time, robots.txt, state, canonicals, and more. You can look at the table right there, obviously, or export to a CSV file and pass it along to the data nerd in your life. So don't worry, the data here is processed in your browser. It's not uploaded to a server or shared with anyone, and it's free to use. So if you ever think to yourself, oh heck, I must inspect, you'll be glad that you bookmarked this. We'll have it in our newsletter as well as on Discord. Pick your poison and check it out.
And now it's time for our must-read marketing article of the week. An article so advanced, so in-depth, so detailed, we simply cannot cover it in its entirety on today's show.
This week's must-read marketing article of the week comes from the one and only Glenn Gabe over on G Squared Interactive, GSQI.com. The article is Google's Broad Core Updates and the Difference Between Relevancy Adjustments, Intent Shifts, and Overall Site Quality Problems. That is a mouthful, and probably how you hurt your hand, Shep, is
Probably.
reading this article, because Glenn goes on to cover the importance of running Delta reports, how to look at relevancy adjustments and the broad core updates, intent shifts, overall site quality problems, how you can actually improve site quality, and then the key points and recommendations for site owners. And like Glenn always does, he doesn't leave a single stone unturned. So if you need to know about one of the core updates or what to do, everybody needs to know if you're an SEO, and Glenn has you covered in this article over on GSQI.com. Thank you, Glenn.
All right, that does it for today's show. Greg, what are you adding to marketing a playlist this week?
I don't know this artist, so don't give me any hate, Shep, but you can inject it straight into my veins. It's Sylvian Esso Die Young. I can outwork you 3x if I'm listening to the song. Sylvian Esso Die Young. I probably said it wrong, but I don't care.
That was intense.
that was.
Jess, what are you adding?
So I hate this early in the game to repeat an artist, but I discovered this song this week, Spotify's recommendation. I've listened to it 8 times at least in the last 3 days. It's Shinigami Eyes by Grimes. Love it. I am
Okay.
driving to it. I am working to it. I am saving the world to it.
I'm happy for you. I will be adding We Don't Talk About Bruno by the Encanto cast.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. Have you heard it? It's a bop.
I watched the
Have
movie.
you seen the movie? We've watched it 10 times. Are you kidding? I was listening to the
My
soundtrack all
7-year-olds
day at
didn't
work.
even like it. No, they probably did. They thought it was okay.
I just
It's
feel
a
like you're
great
doing
song.
this to Greg on
Yeah,
purpose.
It's
this
a
is a
great
troll.
song.
This
I
is
was-
your troll.
I will bring up my Spotify right now. I was listening to the Encanto playlist. Here it is. Original motion picture soundtrack.
I
Wow.
Encanto believe that.
Okay,
All right.
guys. It is now officially not marketing o'clock.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's Marketing O'Clock. If you're looking for more information on today's topics, head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every single article we covered. We share the news as it breaks in our Discord community. Head over to community.marketingoclock.com to join. And we'll see you next week.
Welcome to this week's Shootin the Heck. We're after our famous Friday news show. We don't talk about marketing anymore. We just...
Shoot the heck.
Today we were playing a game that some people enjoy. It's Travel Buddies, where it's basically 2 types of people, but you're traveling with them and you pick one to travel with and one to not.
Yes. All right. This is everybody's favorite game. And you are
Debatable.
traveling across the globe with this person. All right. And I have to give caveats because you don't understand the game after years and years of playing this game. Okay. So in all you're traveling across the globe, there will not be one fireplace you encounter. Okay. Just putting that out there for this one specifically.
Okay.
You have to travel the world with somebody that either prefers a wood fireplace or a gas fireplace. That is their preference. Who do you pick?
Gas fireplace. This person's all about the experience and they don't care how it's offered. Like if it's good
Convenience.
food at McDonald's, who cares that it's not organic?
So both on the same there?
Mhm.
That was the easiest question of the day, and you
And we're
completely
wrong.
botched it. Because the person that likes wood fireplace, they want a genuine experience. You're going on a vacation, you want a fake fireplace. This person is going
We're
to put
not
in work.
encountering a fireplace.
I know, but this person is not afraid to put in work. They're going to go, you're going to get authentic
So you want to
meals.
work on vacation.
They're going to work. They like to work. You get to go and you get to experience, and they're going to do all the good stuff, not the synthetic artificial stuff. You're going to be like there, and you're going to be going to like the tourist traps if you're at the person that likes gas fireplaces. Sorry, you couldn't be more wrong on this.
Tourist traps are fun, and everything in this person's suitcase is going to smell like smoke because they have a wood fireplace.
Yeah,
at
and you're
home.
going to have to wait for them to like do chores
Yeah, no.
because they do chores.
Sorry, this is the data.
Really?
Is saying the other direction.
Okay.
All right. Next up, you will. And here's another caveat for you two. There's no TVs the entire time on your trip.
Then you're not traveling. Airplanes, hotels, they all have
They're
televisions.
all broken. Okay. But you get to travel with somebody that watches commercials on recorded video that just sits there on something that's pre-recorded that could fast forward and watches through the commercials, or you have to travel with somebody that always tries to fast forward and optimize every single minute of pre-recorded
Easy.
video viewing.
Easy. A.
They're living in the moment.
Just relax. Why do you? You're like my husband. He's obsessed with there's buttons for certain apps on the Roku remote, and if I try to navigate to them any other way, he's like, "You're taking more time." Like, no, just relax and enjoy your vacation and watch the commercials.
Okay.
Plus, you're traveling, so the commercials are for things you have not seen yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're learning the culture.
Okay. Let me look up the answer here.
He's pulling the data.
Pulling the data. You're actually incorrect on this. You're going to miss so much more. Yes, you might have to get up a little bit earlier. Yes, you might have to hustle a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're going to consume more. This is a worldwide travel buddies trip. And you need to experience more and see more. And you're only going to get it with that person. And even if you have to hustle a little bit more, it's going to be worth it in the long run.
No.
No.
Okay, you're both wrong. You're both wrong on that. Okay. So next up, caveat for you two. You're not going to drink coffee the entire trip. Okay.
Dude, this is a terrible trip. No fireplace, no TV, no coffee. I'm staying home.
I'm not going.
Who are you choosing? Somebody that doesn't drink coffee and constantly talks about it, or somebody that has a very specific and lengthy coffee order? Who do you choose to travel the globe with,
There's no
knowing you will not
coffee on
order
this trip?
coffee?
I would say, okay, I'm going with the person that doesn't drink coffee because at least they won't be an angry, uncaffeinated person.
That's actually a really good argument, and I can't beat it. But the lengthy coffee order person knows what they like. They're very specific. I feel like I need to fight you on this. If we're not even they're going to get coffee somehow and I'm just not involved, so they're not going to be an angry person. They might be the one that you want because they have preferences. The other one sounds like they just don't try things.
So what's your final answer?
Well,
We're
if
not in
voting as a
agreement, which
team-
is going to be hard for you to disagree with us. as
Yeah,
you
so
The
are.
what,
da- I
what
like-
does the
the
data
data.
say?
The numbers are the numbers. I don't make it up here.
You might as well just break the tie. You don't want to do
What's
it.
your final answer?
My final
Yeah,
answer is
yeah.
the
You need a
coffee person.
combination. You got to choose.
You looked at Jess, so we'll go with her answer.
So
So
you,
tell us why we're wrong.
no.
The length.
What-
We would rather travel with the person with the lengthy coffee order.
that is, you almost won if you would have listened to Shaun. Come on! Because it's annoying to be like, I don't like coffee, but people are annoying in general. You know what's more annoying? Only liking one specific thing. Because you're going to be like, hey, maybe we should go swim with dolphins. And look, well, I don't like sea mammals. And it's like, okay, well, then you can't go see dolphins because they only like things that are fish.
Where is
And
this trip?
It's a global trip shop. So you're going to have to do very specific things. You're going to be so limited by choosing that person. And it's going to be a gigantic problem because they like things a very, very specific way. And you can't just be like, hey, why don't we go here? Why don't we go check out these ruins? They're going to be like, no, that's going to ruin my vacation. And that is the answer. I'm sorry, you went 0 for 3. Better luck next time.
Okay, well, this has been Lies with Greg Finn, and we'll see you next week. Did you seriously make it all the way through that episode of Marketing O'Clock? Good for you. If you're looking for more content, there is a lot more where that came from. So click to watch our latest episode with plenty of digital marketing news and hot takes. Also, please subscribe to our show and like this episode because my job depends on it.